I hope you guys are doing well and are having the most incredible day as always. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, we are now picking our July TBR, which honestly feels insane to say. I cannot quite believe we are already going into July. Honestly scary, but anyway, I am very excited because in today's video we are going to be letting a spinning wheel choose our books for the month of July, which I am a little bit scared about. I feel like when I do the TBR jar I can kind of pick books I actually want to read, whereas this way it could be a mixed bag because on this spinning wheel I have spent a bit of time adding a bunch of books. We have got, I don't know how many, it says 39 different books in this spinning wheel, and some of them I'm very excited about, some of them I am not excited about, but I just know I need to read and get off my TBR, some of which I've had for a very long time, a couple of new releases, and I just put a bit of a mixture in here, and I'm very excited to see what books we pick for the month of July. Now, I have this same conversation with myself every single month. I don't really know how many books I want to pick because I am in like 3 book clubs, so I do have to kind of account to those as well. So I think I'm gonna pick 7. I feel like 7 is a good amount because that gives me 10 books that I could possibly read in the month of July. I won't lie to you guys as well, I am a massive mood reader. I love to mood read. I do it all the time, and sometimes I stick to my TBRs and sometimes I don't, and that is just who I am. But hopefully in the month of July we're going to get some great reads, and I will hopefully pick a bunch of them up as well in the month of July. So without further ado, we are going to spin for book number 1, so fingers crossed it's a good one, so let's go. Okay, so spin number 1. I'm praying for a good one. Let's see. I'm scared to look. Okay, I can do that. So our first book for the month of July is Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I have had this book on my TBR for months, years actually. In fact, I have had this on there for ages, and to be honest with you, this month, as I'm filming this, obviously it's June, duh, I have been in my Lynn Painter era. I have read a couple of her books and I've been obsessed with them, and I'm actually really excited to dive into this one. It's been on my TBR, like I say, for so long, so I'm excited to get to it and see what it's about. So let's read the back together and see what it says. So this one says, bad luck has always followed Olivia Marshall, but when what are you wearing text from a random number turns into the hottest, most entertaining relationship of her life, she thinks things might be looking up. Colin Beck has always seen Olivia as his flatmate's annoying little sister until she moves in with them and he realizes she's turned into an altogether sexier distraction. I was going to say direction, I meant distraction. He's determined to keep his distance, but it isn't easy, especially when he discovers she's the flirty, funny and anonymous girl he's been secretly messaging for weeks. Now, Mr. Wrong Number has a decision to make. Should he shut down the messages before things get messy or turn up the heat? I'm very excited about this one. I know it's called Mr. Wrong Number. I kind of didn't clock on it was going to be a wrong number romance situation, but it's also best friend's little sister. I'm very excited about this one, and I think this is a duology, so I might even dive straight into book 2 if I do love this one. So this is book number 1 for today's video, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so spin number 2. The only thing with a spinning wheel, I find the actual spinning process takes ages and I'm sat here for a very long time. Okay, book number 2. Again, I'm so scared to look. Okay, so book number 2, we have got A First Time for Everything by K.L. Walther. Now again, this is a book I've had for a little while now, and I don't really know anything about this book. I have this habit of buying books by authors. When I have a couple, I kind of keep just auto buying their books, even though I don't really know what the book is about. It's a very bad habit to have, honestly, and I need to kind of stop doing it, but this is one of those books that I kind of picked up on a whim. Anyway, let's read the back together. So this one says, Madeline has always been extremely close to her family, so she is shocked when her older brother gets engaged without including them, or even giving a heads up. Mads has never been the biggest fan of his fiancée, Katie, so in order to remain one happy family, she is determined to bond with Katie before the big day, which includes reluctantly agreeing to be in the wedding party. During a late-night bridesmaids-only game of Truth or Dare, Mads is cornered into revealing that she has never been kissed or even been on a date, which spurs the other girls to unite on a quest to find Mads the perfect +1 for the wedding. Next thing she knows, she's navigating a series of disastrous dates that includes some major misunderstandings and mishaps. All of a sudden, Mads finds her heart tugged in different directions, from Connor, the boy next door who knows her best, to Marco, the former classmate who pushes all her buttons, and to some of her new suitors who surprisingly aren't all bad. As the wedding draws nearer, Mads has to figure out who she wants as her dance partner, while also making sure her brother isn't making the biggest mistake of his life. Okay, this is exciting. I'm kind of excited about this one. I really like the vibe of it. It's giving, I don't know, just like a fun, fast-paced kind of energy, which I'm very excited about. So this is book number 2 for this month's picks, and I'm very excited. Again, I love the look of the covers, and I can't wait to dive in. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, and again, book number 3. Let's spin and see what we have. I feel like it's a short one, which scares me. Kind of didn't want this one, not gonna lie. I'll give you a reason, 1 second. Okay, so book number 3, we have got Overruled by Alana Ferguson. Now, the reason I didn't want this one, and I don't know whether this is gonna be the same or not because I haven't read the back yet, we'll go through that in a second, but I have literally, as in today, just finished The Mating Game by Alana Ferguson, and I didn't like it, which is a shame because I really thought I was gonna love it. And it wasn't her writing style that I didn't like. I'm obviously gonna go into more detail when I do my June wrap up, but it was more the connection of the characters, which was none, by the way, and also the fact that they were just like getting spicy in every page, and it was too much. It was not a favourite of mine, so I'm intrigued by this one, but also a little bit nervous. Like, I really don't want it to be a constant like author that I don't like, especially because I have like 6 books on my TBR by Lana Ferguson, so that will teach me to not just buy a bunch of books by the same author. But anyway, let's read the back of this one and see what it says. So, as one of the top divorce lawyers in Austin, Danica Pierce has no problem being married to her job, not when love only ends in hurt. When the biggest case of her career gives her a shot at making partner, it seems like nothing could possibly stand in her way, except for her infuriating secret: she's sleeping with the enemy. Ezra Hart is known for charming his way in and out of a courtroom. In the matter of winning Danica's heart, however, he has been far less successful. With her verdict to keep things purely physical, Ezra struggles to show Danica he's more than the insufferable playboy she's pegged him to be. Whilst Danny and Ezra battle it out in the courtroom, the real trial is on one happening between them. Eventually, Danny must choose between her fear of trusting again and the feelings blossoming between her and the man she thought was her nemesis. Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with the book I just read, which I'll tell you more about obviously in my wrap up, but this sounds interesting. It's kind of giving like Hating Game vibes, which the Hating Game, the book, I did not enjoy because it was like, I don't know, I just didn't love that book either, but this one's, I feel like, is a little bit different. I don't know. I'm excited to give it a try. I am open to reading more of her books, and I will read them all anyway, but yeah, I think the one I just read, it just kind of put me off a little bit, but this has nothing to do with werewolves, so I feel like we are in the clear. But yeah, this is book number 3, and I dare I say I'm a little bit excited. I don't know, but yeah, maybe I'll find the audiobook or something for this one just so I can like keep up the momentum, you know what I mean? Okie dokie, book number 4. I feel like we're getting through these so quickly, but I'm only picking 7. I feel like I want to pick more, but I will just pick 7. Again, I'm scared. I knew I was going to get this one. Honestly, when I put it on there, I knew I was going to get it because not only is it the oldest book on my TBR, which is why I add it. There is a crow outside, which is why I put it on there in the first place. Also, it is at the bottom of this pile of books, so I'm going to have to move them all. One momento. Also, that bird is going nuts outside. I don't honestly know what's going on. Okay, besties, so book number 4, we have got The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I have read quite a few books by these authors, and I really do enjoy their writing style. They're fun, they're fast-paced, very easy to get through. I do really enjoy them. However, I do have quite a few of their books on my backlist. I say quite a few, it's probably like 3, maybe 4 of them. Like, I just haven't had the itch to read. Like The Paradise Problem, still haven't read it, and I've heard really great things about it, so I do need to hurry up. But this one is the oldest book on my TBR, and I'm pretty sure I added it on my list back in, dare I say, 2022 or something like that. It has been a long time, so long in fact that I actually used to have the old cover and I repurchased the new cover. Like, it's been a very long time. But this one, I don't really know too much about. The flop on it though, coming through. Anyway, let's read the back together and see what this one is about. So it says, Jess Davis is a numbers genius, but when it comes to love, she's had to accept there's no magic formula. Juggling a career with raising her daughter, it's not surprising that her love life is non-existent. But then she hears about Genetically, a buzzing new matchmaking company that claims to find you the one using a DNA equation. Suddenly, love doesn't seem so far out of reach. It's taken me 5 minutes to get through that. I'm not even kidding. Anyway, until her test results show a unheard of 98% compatibility with the founder, Dr. River Pina, I think that's how you pronounce it. Jess already knows Dr. Pina, and this man is 100% not her soulmate. Yet, as the pair are dragged from one event to the next as the ultimate pairing that could make Genetically a fortune, Jess begins to realise that there might be more to the scientist and to the science behind the soulmate than she thought. Okay, so this is giving fake dating vibes, which I am excited about. I love a good fake dating kind of trope, but I don't know why it took me so long to read the back of that. Honestly, guys, you wouldn't even believe it. I have been sat here for probably about 7 minutes, and I just kept stumbling over my words. But anyway, this is book number 4. Very excited. I am excited to finally read it because I have had it on my list for literally forever, so I feel like it is time, and we're going to do it together. Okay, and book number 5. I'm hoping for maybe like a fantasy book or something. I feel like we're going very romance heavy so far. Was my can't say. I was gonna say was my wish granted, and I couldn't get my words out. No, but a thriller. Okay, we love it. So book number 5, we have got Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have had this book on TBRs after TBRs after TBRs, and I don't pick it up. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is. I think because I've heard so many incredible things about this book, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm expecting it to be incredible, like top tier, like absolutely jaw hit the floor, plot twist vibes. So I'm kind of on the fence because I just feel like there's a lot of pressure into me loving it, but I just know I'm gonna love it. And the thing is as well is that I know that I need to read the physical, but the font is so small. Like, look at the font, so small. But throughout this book, I'm gonna pick one from the start because I'm not gonna spoil it for myself. There are drawings throughout the book, and you kind of get that vibe like throughout the book that all these drawings are gonna like add up to something. So I am really excited about it, but I am scared at the same time. But the back of this one, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really read the back, so I think we should do it together. I feel like we're gonna get a bit of a better vibe about what the book's about. So this one says, Mallory is delighted to have a new job looking after gorgeous 5-year-old Teddy. She's been sober for a year and a half, and she's sure her new nannying role in the affluent suburbs will help her keep her on straight and narrow. That is until Teddy starts to draw disturbing pictures of his imaginary friend Anya. It's quite clear to Mallory and Teddy's parents, even in his crude childlike style, that the woman Teddy is drawing in his pictures is dead. Ugh. Creepy. Teddy's crayons are confiscated and his paper locked away, but the drawings somehow keep coming, telling a frightening story of a woman murdered, and they're getting more sophisticated. But if Teddy isn't drawing the pictures anymore, who is, and what are they trying to tell Mallory about her new home? Okay, I'm excited, but I literally won't be able to read this while I'm on my own because I'll be so scared. I do really need to read it. I'm on a mission. And also, the Works have this now for £5. I bought mine from Waterstones for 11. You can get it in the Works for a £5. So if you guys want to join me on being terrified, let me know. Okay, spin number 6. I kind of don't want this to end, not gonna lie. I'm really enjoying my spinning. Okay, what have we got? Again, would love a thriller. Is it a thriller? I'm feeling no, not a thriller, a fantasy. Absolutely not. This is like, couldn't be any more opposite of a fantasy book, but anyway. Next up, we have got this chunk of a book, which is Older by Jennifer Hartman. Now, I have not read a single Jennifer Hartman book ever, and I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of her books on my TBR. Wait, 8, including this one actually. And I don't know what it is about her books. This one has no flop though. Like, literally none, whereas I feel like some others, like look at that, you know, I just honestly, I'm gonna have to read this on my Kindle because there is no way, you know, you could build a house with that. Anyway, from what I've heard, this is like an age gap romance, but let's read the back together and see. So this one says, before he discovered my age, he uncovered my heart. That's giving red flag, but anyway. Bruised, abused, and a victim to a loveless household, I was shimmering with a new life the moment he found me drowning my sorrows in a lake beneath the stars. A chance encounter, an unspoken connection. I was smitten, he was curious. But as everyone knows, fate can be decidedly cruel. He called me Hayley, like the comment. I called him Reed. And my best friend, well, she called him Dad. That is something. that is something I... Okay, well, we're doing it. Best friend's dad romance. I am intrigued. I've heard good things about Jennifer Hartman, so I am excited to kind of get into another author's style of writing and kind of see what I think of it. But yeah, what a way to go in. We are diving in deep with Older, so I'm very excited. Okay, besties, last but certainly not least, we have book number 7. Would love a fantasy, would love another thriller, to be honest. We have quite a lot of romance, but I think there is a lot of romance on the wheel, to be fair. I'm scared because that title looks long. I don't know if I want to look. Okay, a thriller, YA. I'm excited about that. One second. So last but definitely not least, we have got Keep Your Friends Close by Cynthia Murphy. I am a massive Cynthia Murphy gal. I absolutely love her books. They are some of my favourites. If you love YA mystery thrillers like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, if you love One of Us is Lying, if you love those kind of books, like, you will love her books. Win, Lose, Kill, Die, I still think about, and I read that like probably 2 years ago. Like, it is such a good book. Anyway, this is, I think, her newer release. I know she has another one coming out, which I have pre-ordered, or I will be pre-ordering very soon. But yeah, this one has been on my TBR for a while. Very excited to dive in. So let's read the back together of the last book and see what this one is about. So it says, Chloe Roberts is about to be named Morton Academy's next head girl and the leader of the school's secret society, Jewel and Bone. But then her best friend, Nikita Patel. Why does that name ring a bell? Nikita Patel. Is that a name of something else? Nikita Patel. Anyway, betrays her and life comes crashing down. Things take a darker turn when Chloe finds the Book of Crime and Punishment, a record of every misdeed committed by Morton students and the fitting penalty for each. And soon, entries in the book start to match up with murders of Jewel and Bone members. Can Chloe get to the bottom of this twisted game before... That was insane. Anyway, can Chloe get to the bottom of this twisted game before she's next on the killer's hit list? I am very excited about this one. I feel, again, just her books are very quick, very easy. Like, I could easily read this in like one sitting, maybe two, and just completely like immerse myself in it, which I'm very excited about. So that is book number 7 and the last book I'm going to be reading in the month of July. Fingers crossed we stick to the TBR. So let's do a run through of all the books we picked. Okay, so first up we have got Keep Your Friends Close by Cynthia Murphy. Then we have Older by Jennifer Hartman. Next is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulek. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm very excited about this one. We then have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. Overruled by Lana Ferguson. A First Time for Everything by K.L. Walther. And lastly, we have Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. So these are all of the books I am hopefully going to pick up in the month of July. I would love to know down below, have you read any of these books yourselves? What were your thoughts and opinions? Which ones should I pick up first? Hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get to every single one of them, but I am, as I said, a massive mood reader. So if I read a few of them and then delve into other things, don't be surprised, but hopefully I should stick to this and we will get through them all. But yeah, let me know down below any thoughts and opinions on any of these. What did you like? What did you not like? I would love to know down below. But that is everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you aren't already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you would hit that subscribe button. We recently hit 13,000 of you, which honestly just made my day. Like, I honestly just am so appreciative of you. I really just am so thankful. So thank you for being here. And if you aren't subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and join our little family over here on YouTube. So yeah, that is everything for today's video. I love you guys so incredibly much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.